what if we just got a little more thoughtful about having these conversations, and when it goes a little sideways, you need not fear. You can just take a deep breath and redirect it.
Now you say that.
All right, so it might be gossip, it might be politics, it might be a generally sticky, tricky topic you'd hope to avoid, but if you find yourself in an uncomfortable conversation over the holidays, KSL Relationship Contributor Dr. Townsend wants you to practice the art of the pivot. We're talking, trying to get ourselves out of these situations.
Yeah. We've got to get out.
Yeah. Not easy to do.
No, no. Well, they're not. But isn't it funny? Some just don't care. And then some of us care. And like, we're like, we don't know how to, we don't want to offend, and we want it to be natural.
Right.
And yet they won't stop talking. Like, sometimes you just want to grab their lips and just, but don't.
Or just
Don't
walk
do that.
away, but you can't do that either.
You can't walk around.
Right.
You got to pivot.
Got it.
So the pivot to me is just a simple idea, like when you're trying to go in the ocean, you don't just take on all the waves, you turn a little bit and you kind of get a little smaller, and then you can make an exit. You can get away from the wave or let the wave roll over you. We're going to teach you 5 basic pivots, okay? First one, I love this one. This is, anytime I walk into some situation where I haven't seen people in a while, I call it the reunion icebreaker.
Okay.
And all you say is something like, hey, before we go any further, I want to catch up on you. I want to hear everything that's been going on in your life. And then that's how you actually get people talking. Right?
Yes.
Now, that's not a pivot, but that's a pivot into the conversation. Some of us don't know how to start a conversation, but remember, a lot of people just are pretty self-centric when they're talking about things and talking to people. So just get into them, and that's the easiest way to get the conversation started if you don't know how to pivot in.
Because kind of opens us up, and then they just feel.
You got tips for both people, right? One to get out, and you're like, I'm going to be the guy to get in there.
This is how you get in. People that don't know how to do it. Then this next one's called pivot with validation. So if you're in a conversation, it's Uncle Larry, he's bringing up politics again, and he's talking all this smack, then what you can just do is, you know what? I call it pivot with validation. So you validate him, you know what, Uncle Larry, I totally hear you. Politics are so crazy right now. But speaking of some crazy things, and then you pivot to whatever the theme is. Craziness, or, you know, times really are tight because of the president or whatever. And then, you know what, speaking of tight, and then pivot to whatever's difficult or tight. So you can change the subject by just validating what they've got. It's an easy way to say thanks, and let's talk this way.
So still allow them to get somewhat of their point across, but hey, we're going another direction. Let's just put that on hold.
Yeah, we can always just be real with them. Another kind of one is where you do what we call the family memory redirection. So you can, like, a great one is like, hey, I totally understand. Hey, this reminds me of, and then you go back to a memory that you used to love.
Oh, so you're making it up.
But it might be like something like, hey, like if somebody brought up politics, hey, this reminds me of, in fact, this just happened in one of our Thanksgiving, pre-Thanksgiving meal Sunday. Somebody was talking politics, and somebody said, yeah, didn't that happen in the Korean War or whatever? And they brought up an old war.
Now we've gone on to war.
And it changed it changed the discussion. But you can also bring up a family memory. Hey, didn't Grandma live in that area or whatever?
Yeah.
Or didn't Grandma struggle with whatever? You can change it to any memory, or you can go to your favorite memories. Oh, hey, that makes me remember this, and then go back to a really positive experience.
That's a good one.
Memories, especially around the holidays, they go together, right?
Okay.
This other one's called the smoke and fire approach. A lot of times people just start talking about their pain, lots of pain. It's ugly, life is hard, money's tight. You can validate it, you know what, it sounds like you really had a hard year. And then you can actually go to put out the fire. Tell me some things that have worked for you this year that have made your year better.
What I'm noticing is you're talking, I do some of these things, but I don't do the second step. I validate, and then it keeps it going.
That's right.
But I've got to move on to the next pivot.
And then you're seen as a great listener because you're validating. So if you're going to validate, make sure, and you want to be done, make sure you pivot out. Right?
Okay.
So the last one, though, is kind of the humorous detour, we call it, right? I just like to take what they're saying and then, be careful. You know what? If you keep talking politics like this, Uncle Jasper, we may have to have you run for Senate. Who wants to vote for Uncle Jasper for Senate? Now we've just changed it.
A little humor.
Conversation done, and we can move on.
I do love that.
Isn't that powerful?
That's a great one. All of those are. So now we kind of got the second part of that, right?
Now you know it's a two-parter. Always do the second part.
You had a great conversation. Let me pivot to something else. Have you noticed this? Okay, all right. Is that
so good? And you validated it.
Right. So great conversation. But every year you host a big date night. night, an event, and you bring couples together who maybe want to invest and improve their relationship. When is it?
It's on February 14th, but we're offering a discount, 20% off. We've already lowered the price because we want to get everybody there that we can. Couples come, we learn new skills, and then if you go to matttownsend.com, you can get a discount of 20% through Cyber Monday, so you can actually bring your adult kids and give as a Christmas gift the Valentine's Day so they can work on their marriages. It's February 14th at Olympus Junior High. We're going to fill the place and teach everyone to pivot.
Oh,
it's going to be awesome.
wait. Well, you're fantastic. We appreciate your advice at all.
Great job.
Thank you.